ultimately, though, you think this is also the common fatality of any type of a central banking institution, because ultimately the citizens demand more, maybe something for nothing, and this cycle repeats over 100-year periods. This is something that I talked to Jeff Booth about, this concept just of inflation and deflation. And whether you point the finger at someone doing it bad, this is a cycle that repeats, that even the rich lose at over a 100-year cycle. Usually it's the poor that take the initial hits with inflation, but then the rich take a hit when everything is confiscated by the governments or wars or that kind of thing. Can you just speak on your thoughts on that? As in, is this inevitable when we lock ourselves into money, as we used to know it, at least?
Yeah. So I think that, first of all, there's this old saying that there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government solution. So that's how we got into fiat currency, right? It's self-deception, I think. This is not, I don't like to paint this as some type of cabal behind the curtain that's planning in, detail how they're just going to victimize society forever. It's incremental, right? There's this gradualism to it where if you just follow the incentives, right? A government owns the monopoly on force and violence, so they can basically do whatever they want in the physical domain. The most important tool and the most important incentive schema for human beings is money. So in the interest of getting maximal leverage or maximum something for nothing, government can then apply that monopoly on force to control this instrument that is human time, frankly, right? Money is human time. They're indistinguishable, right? Money emblematizes human time in the marketplace, as we described earlier. So now, instead of trying to go door to door and physically coerce people to do what you want, you can just control this concentrated source of power and human time and apply your willpower, imprint your willpower onto the world, your political power onto the world. So humans in position of power, let's say policymakers, they've always managed to convince themselves, they've managed to rationalize, we just need to take a little bit of this, monopolize the money just a little bit, or just print a little bit more money to accomplish aims A, B, and C. And again, nothing is more permanent than a temporary government solution, right? Every time they add these bureaucratic layers, which they've funded through the theft of monetary manipulation, right? Whether it's inflation or it could be direct taxation as well. They're basically adding layers to this bureaucratic beast that it doesn't ever suffer any Darwinian correction. There's no creative destruction in the government until a government is absolutely destroyed, right? Either in war or overthrown by revolution. So you end up with this coercive element at the heart of every economy, which is antithetical to what an economy is meant to be, right? We create value only through voluntary exchange. When you and I enter into a trade, the only reason we trade is because you think what I have is more valuable to you, and I think the same. I think what you have is more valuable to me. So when we exchange, at least psychologically, we are both better off after the trade. If you remove, this is called the inequality of exchange, is what economists call this. So it might be intuitive to think that we're trading things that are equal in value, but that's not at all what's happening. It's you have to think what I have is more valuable and vice versa. When you break the mechanism of voluntary exchange, you destroy value creation. So when you engage in involuntary exchange, which is to say theft, coercion, compulsion, violence, you are destroying value. And that, I think, is the fundamental problem, is that humans in position of power have managed to rationalize coercion, compulsion, and violence as some temporary solution to some temporary problem. And they're just accumulating these long run risk over time and diverging. The other thing here is that the structure we inhabit, then it becomes divergent from the collective wishes of market actors, right? It's not what they would have voted for. So you've got like more and more theft accumulating in this system of voluntary action. And when they diverge significantly enough, there has to be a reckoning, right? The reckoning comes as warfare or it comes as revolution. So I think, again, the destiny of money is to be encrypted. And I think gold historically is kind of the analog. Like the reason humans chose gold is because it was the thing humans could not pollute with their opinion or political willpower. They could, no matter how much we tried to imprint our political will on gold, we couldn't change it. Right. So gold became the base layer operating system or the prime mover for human action, if you will. And now we found something new. We've created this man-made institution or this man-made money in Bitcoin that no man can corrupt. No man can bend. It's rules that we ourselves cannot break. So we need fair and immutable rules as the bedrock of peaceful cooperation. Because if we can twist the rules, that is the best strategy. To be able to be the rule maker is to be able to win in perpetuity. Right. Obviously, right? If I can sit down to the game of Monopoly and I can make the rules, you're going to lose every single time. 100% of the time you will lose. That's exactly what the central bank is. It is the rule maker. This gets back to the old Rothschild quote, give me the ability to issue a nation's currency and I care not who makes its laws.